Let me read to you a passage from the 5th chapter of St. Matthew's Gospel, verses 27 to 32. It's the Gospel for Friday of the 10th week of Ordinary Time. St. Matthew writes, Jesus said to his disciples, "You have heard that it was said, 'Do not commit adultery.' But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to sin, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to go into hell. It has been said, anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. But I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife, unless the marriage is unlawful, causes her to commit adultery, and anyone who marries the divorced woman commits adultery." That's from Matthew chapter 5, verse 27 to 32. We are led to think of God and the human heart. What do I mean? Well, atheism is becoming respectable, and for quite some time it has even been getting a bit popular. Without batting an eyelid or blushing at all, you can state on national television that you are an atheist. In one sense this is good, in that there is less and less cultural reason for subterfuge, and there is little point in being religious out of human respect. What may well develop, though, is social pressure militating against religious belief and the tenets of religion. Now, it is commonly denied that morality depends on religion. And after all, so it is thought, what matters is not religion but morality. The important thing is that you be moral, while religion is a personal option which may well help you to be moral or happy, but it is not necessary. One has only to think of the characters of pop literature and drama in, say, the cheap novels or comic strips and movies over the past century, such as Tarzan, The Phantom, Superman, Spider-Man, etc., to see how the good person is not popularly perceived as religious. This notion is pressed home by the modern atheist. He endeavours to show that religious beliefs in, say, a supernatural moral being are mere projections of the mind which have the function of maintaining man's moral standards and happiness. Basically, when it comes to religion and its tenets as to ultimate reality, there is nothing out there at all. The only things that exist are what you can see or measure. The rest is simply what you have been persuaded to think or imagine. I remember a very interesting television show entitled Fear and Faith on an SBS channel in Australia on the evening of January the 28th, 2013 at 8:35 p.m. The host of the show, Darren Brown, happily declared himself to be an atheist, and one of his projects on the show was to prove that if you are persuaded of the existence of an unseen presence, this will affect the morality of your actions. The point was that what God does for personal morality is what a belief in any personal presence will do. So two groups of persons were set to do a task in the dark that required honesty. Each person had to record whenever he or she made a mistake. Now, one group was led to believe that a presence was observing them in their actions. Needless to say, it was discovered that the group that thought a presence was watching proved to be the more honest. Those who thought no one was watching cheated. This showed that what God does in moral action, anything can do. So there is no God out there. The awesome presence ensuring that we be moral is just a function of society or man or other institutions or personal instincts that ensure that morality be maintained. Now, I do not wish to divert to a discussion of the lamentable logic of this. I simply draw out one implication of the denial of an objective personal presence that watches our most secret actions. The fact is that morality is not simply external behavior which is perceptible by others. You may not actually murder someone, but what would people think of you if you had wanted to murder him and actually intended to do so, but eventually decided not to because, say, it wasn't worth the trouble? You would be judged to be a bad person unless you had repented of your thoughts very sincerely. Morality does not simply embrace external action and what you say in the hearing of others. Even if your actions are moral in the presence of others, all understand that even this could be for reasons of self-interest rather than morality as such. But it is also understood by all that one should be moral even when there is no chance of being observed by others, such as in the realm of personal thought and desire. Were it to come to light that you desired to do someone harm, even if you never did this, still you would be judged to have done wrong in desiring this. The moral and good life includes, indeed especially includes, the thoughts of the heart. Now, our atheist friend of the SBS television program I mentioned showed that the person in the dark who thinks that a presence is observing him was more honest than one who thought he was alone. What is to be expected of the one who thinks that no one will observe his most secret thoughts, let alone his secret deeds? Our secret thoughts and desires are also the fruit of personal choice, or at least can be and often are. What is to be the moral force, the voice that commands with absolute authority in the realm of private morality, in the realm of the mind and heart, out of the sight of others, if there is no God? The one who thinks that a divine presence observes the secret thoughts of his heart will surely endeavour to think in a way that will please this presence. If this presence is a moral presence, so will that person think and desire morally, for there will be a final reckoning. All of this brings us to our gospel passage that I read earlier. If there is one thing that Jesus Christ taught, it is that the moral and religious life does not simply consist of words and deeds done in the sight of others. Those who pray to gain the praise of men, our Lord said, already have their reward. Rather, go to your private room and shut the door, and your Father, who sees what you do in secret, will reward you. In our gospel passage that I read earlier from Matthew chapter 5, verse 27 to 32, our Lord speaks of purity of the heart. One can sin just as terribly as if indeed by the deliberate thoughts of the heart. What is the answer to this? It is to live constantly in the presence of God, knowing with absolute conviction that He is within. He watches all, and He will judge all our decisions, even the most secret. Those who do not believe in God have, in the nature of the case, a problem.